Could you please give us your name?
Jeffrey Epstein.
Is it true, sir, that you have what's been described as an egg-shaped penis?
A few decades ago, Jeffrey Epstein was a mysterious playboy, a rich financial mogul always surrounded by young, beautiful women. His downfall can be linked to the Me Too movement, exposing the world's most famous sexual predators. But Epstein was the most high prolific from them all. Coincidentally, Harvey Weinstein and Epstein used a similar tactic to sexually abuse their victims. They commonly started with a massage. I wonder if they knew each other. That's funny. He was not born rich, but he had above average social skills and did pretty well for himself in the financial world. He made large donations to organizations, charities, schools, and police departments. He had ties with politicians, corporations, institutions, and even the royal family. He often flew with famous and powerful people to his private island. I mean, this guy was everywhere, yet he used his intellects for evil. He was a pimp, but not the good kind. Sex trafficking children for himself and his elite friends, not to mention that he had multiple cameras set up in his home to record people and underage girls. This was potential blackmail footage he could later use to get what he wants. Netflix has now provided a platform for the survivors to share their stories with the mainstream. Epstein was a sociopath that preyed on vulnerable young women because they are more impressionable. He was financially supportive, complimented their insecurities, helped them pursue their dreams, and travel the world. He would ask them to recruit other girls, and this is how he created a child prostitution pyramid scheme. The system was rigged against the victims, but they showed perseverance to put this monster in jail. This documentary shines a light on the lack of transparency between the government and high-profile elites who put their own selfish interests ahead of our well-being. I will explain how Epstein represents the flaws of the criminal justice system. As the investigation began, it was evident that Epstein was integrated with different levels of government. Former Chief of Police Michael Ryder from Palm Beach spent years trying to convince prosecutors to bring serious charges against Epstein. The state of Florida kept brushing off Ryder, so he moved his evidence over to the federal government. Escalating this type of investigation to the FBI was unheard of. U.S. Attorney Alex Acosta was now the prosecutor in charge of the case. Things were starting to get more suspicious, though. The victims have the right to be informed on the progress of the case, but they were left in the dark. Acosta was meeting one-on-one with Epstein's defense team. In 2007, Acosta made the decision not to charge Epstein in federal court and sent the case back to the local state prosecutors. Epstein was eventually arrested in 2008 for only 13 months for child prostitution. To further show Epstein's integration with the government, Acosta was later promoted to U.S. Secretary of Labor under Trump's government. Epstein was eventually arrested again on July 6, 2019, and Acosta coincidentally resigned from his position 2 weeks later. On August 10, 2019, Epstein reportedly committed suicide by hanging. There is a lot of conspiracy theories and memes around his death, as the way it happened was highly suspicious. The documentary left out that his death was actually his second suicide attempt. From being a high-profile criminal alone, Epstein should have been under strict supervision or suicide watch at least. The prison made major violations. He was not checked on every 30 minutes. They found his body 2 hours after his death. The guards fell asleep. 2 cameras in front of Epstein's cell malfunctioned that night. And those are just to name a few. It seems that everything could go wrong went wrong. Epstein's brother hired a forensic pathologist, Michael Baden, for an independent autopsy. Even Dr. Baden states that the evidence points to a homicide. I mean, Epstein's jawbone had 3 different fractures, which is unlikely with a suicide from hanging. Not to mention, Epstein could have been a target if he had information against the world's most powerful elites. His notepad is also rumored to be currently surfacing the internet, known as Epstein's Little Black Book, containing the names of celebrities and powerful elites that were involved in his child sex ring. Prince Andrew was involved in the child sex scandals and resigned from his royal duties a few months after Epstein's death. Either way, the conspiracy theories are just a distraction to what is actually happening. Whether it is a suicide or murder, this is still a result of negligence from the criminal justice system. I mean, if this was his second suicide attempt, then Epstein got what he wanted. The victims were robbed from their catharsis and will never see him go to trial. Interestingly enough, George Floyd's family hired Dr. Baden to conduct an autopsy on Floyd. On May 25th, 2020, a Minneapolis cop murdered Floyd by asphyxiation in broad daylight. We are now witnessing a revolution around the world against police brutality. It is now more than ever that we need to expose the individuals who use their position of authority for evil, especially individuals in the criminal justice system who separate us from unification based on superficial concepts such as gender, race, and social class. If justice is blind, the system will need to stop failing us. My thoughts and prayers go to your family. Rest in peace, George Floyd.